Anastasia, I like this idea of Anish as the CEO of chess.com. Somehow that fits, as we see there in the World Chess Hall of Fame, Alireza adjusting all of his pieces. Something
put it past him to just do this to
irritate. Tickle.
I don't think you're irritated. I think you're happy.
But it's a good idea, right? Because Alireza, very young.
Yeah.
Will he be familiar with the
All
ideas
the nuances.
of your...
Yeah, exactly. It's a very, very tricky line, and there's some complicated variations that you have to navigate. If you're not well prepared, it's easy, and I can kind of guess by Alireza's body language there that he's been Indian with knight f3 on move 4.
And a pause from Alireza, because obviously there's plenty of options here. If you want to continue playing the Nimzo, you're, I think, supposed to play c5 here.
Right.
There's also the option, of course, of playing d7, d5 and switching back to the Ragozin. I'm sure Castles doesn't lose either, but those two, I think, are the main two lines you're choosing from.
Yeah. And
Good to know that Castles doesn't lose.
B6 is also
B7,
very
B6 is, not the trendy E3, bishop D2 lines. What is the line, by the way, where they played the early bishop G5? What was that called?
I'm not sure. I'm really horrible with variation names.
Boris Spassky, I had a game with Svetozar Gligorich. I was on the black side where they played bishop G5. The inclusion, however, of bishop G5, I don't think is actually a very good move. I think black actually more than
Leningrad
equalizes.
variation.
Leningrad, I had it in mind that it had a Russian name. But I imagine that if you did castle, the move
Bishop
G5
absolutely
takes more legitimacy.
Absolutely. And this is why B6, Jovanka absolutely correctly pointed. Does h6 make a draw now? h6 is a draw now, but nobody plays h6 here. There's really no reason to
play h4.
I think h4 is more logical.
Very logical.
Yeah.
Whoa, he played
King
king
G5,
g5.
that's still winning.
That's still fine. Yeah, that's
That's
fine.
still in the table. That's the rook g3, king h4, nestling between double h pawns.
That is still completely
That's
fine.
that is just cruel. King g5.
In the meantime, Wesley's kind of outplaying Linear in that position.
Who's playing for a win? You're asking.
He's going to go to g2 with the king and then ask Linear exactly how are you planning to make a
Draw.
No, there is a draw.
Well, I'll sacrifice my rook on f back to.
h3, h4 chosen by Levon, which is still completely fine. Pretty much every single move was winning there, but yeah, him wanting to preserve both of his passers for the longest possible time is very understandable.
Yeah, and I have the table base right in front of me telling me that it is completely winning for Levon. I mean, that's the beauty of the table base, that chess, when there's not so many pieces, has been so worked out that these table bases can just indicate that's a draw,
Right.
that's a win.
Yeah. I was going to say you could play h6, king takes c4, h7 there, but once again nobody does that because you
course
don't
not.
want to involve yourself with this queen versus rook.
Certainly not, but rook c4, rook c4 c8 was played by Levon. And I don't think it was the first time I became familiar with the table base, but it was in 1995 in Philadelphia, the first Garry Kasparov versus Deep Blue match. The two sides were negotiating the rules of the match, and the idea was whenever a position came into a table-based position, the two sides accepted the result of the game. In other words, rook and bishop versus rook. Gary's the defender, Garry would not have to defend it because the computer has access to the table base. So the idea was the table base decides, end of the story. And it was sort of like, well, how many endings were there? And it was something unbelievable.
And there on your screen you see
30,000 endings, and we do
And
have a victory.
Exactly, and Levon Aronian wins against Alireza Firouzja. So
Wow.
Levon now joins Wesley So in being tournament leader. But what a game by
I don't
Levon.
want to use the word epic, but in some ways it really was. This was an incredible game. I mean, to the very end, and the tricks.
so
The
many
traps.
tricks and
Wow.
once again, starting from move 40, Levon played almost a perfect game. He didn't find rook e5, and if we want to be extremely strict with him, we will say that this actually